Hello, my friends. This is the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twin Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. And that's not just blowing smoke. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke.
Cool breeze in my head, bittersweet smoke flying through the air. It's the way I feel, smoking on fire.
And although we might have a little overflow out in the back 40, you will be able to, get a seat because our occupancy has got to be at half. So we really have to keep an eye on that and how many people are coming in. But we do plan to offer, the girls and guys have been working really hard to try and keep the same feel and offer the same service. So when everybody comes, they'll be able to enjoy their favorite cocktails and beverages and cigars as well.
Sweet. Kendra, can we hear you at this point? That would be a no.
24 Lounge. So we've grown over the years and made many partnerships, friendships, thousands and thousands of regulars and customers, and we've grown our business to what I think is one of the best cigar environments in the country. And that's always been our goal. So if you fast forward about 10 years into the existence of Twin Smoke Shop, I was paying attention to I'm an antique collector. I collect advertising and memorabilia, and I've surrounded myself with that since I was probably 16 years old. But some of the items I was finding was part of the 724 cigar brand, and I started discovering this before the internet, and I would see a couple pieces or I'd get a couple phone calls, people telling me where they saw them in an antique shop, and I'd go chasing them down. And that's what kind of brought the 724 brand to my attention. And as a retail tobacconist, I really was intrigued by it. It was right in Manchester, New Hampshire. You can see the backdrop behind Nick, which is the not the original factory, but that was the second factory. The original factory opened up in a small storefront at 724 Elm Street, Manchester, New Hampshire. And it was a small retail establishment. And I understand they made about 18,000 cigars in their first year.
Wow.
So fast forward about 25 years, they built a factory that's you see behind Nick. And I believe it opened, from what I've learned, in about 1905. That factory grew to be the largest manufacturer of 10-cent cigars in the world. And learning all this history and how what I can see looks great.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
And I can hear all you guys. I'm not sure what anybody else can hear.
Yeah, I mean, to me, everything sounds fine.
Yeah, I just got a message from Scott Watson, one of my oldest original customers at Twin Smoke Shop, that just Kurt sounds good. Jimmy Price is in the house.
Yep. Hey, Jimmy, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy?
All right.
Well, hey, I'm going to rewind a minute. I see Scott Watson on the screen, and Scott's an old friend. He was one of the original customers at Twin Smoke Shop, and he was also in the beginning of microbreweries, the brewer at Nutfield Brewery, and that's when I think that was the first time I had ever had a beer that wasn't a Budweiser. And but that was back in the late 90s, I believe. And that was some of the first events and partnerships we ever had was with Scott at Nutfield Brewery in Londonderry, New Hampshire. Or maybe that was Derry, New Hampshire. And now Scott has a company called Loon Chocolate right out of New Hampshire. He's making
Yeah.
killer chocolates. Sorry about the side advertisement, but well,
There's
he's a
nothing
good
wrong with that.
Gotta do a plug. Gotta do a plug.
What are we all thinking so far about the WK and the pairing? Paul?
Well, the WK is just a wonderfully creamy, smooth cigar. I got some nice light citrus notes out of it from the beginning. It's continuing on, some nice cedar notes as well. Very, very smooth. Just a fantastic cigar. Very, very, very approachable for a lot of people. This is certainly one of our more popular lines that we have in the humidor.
Nick, what about yourself?
This is my favorite Connecticut cigar to smoke. It doesn't smoke like any other Connecticut that I've ever had. A lot of the Connecticut's that I've had in the past lack of flavor. They're just really light. They're really kind of a beginner cigar. But the 724 Connecticut WK, to me, is a great introduction to somebody that wants to get outside of their normal smoking Connecticut. So this got a lot of flavor. To me, it's got a lot of wood, creamy notes in there. And then it has a really, really nice retrohale spice on it. And it's going perfect with the Herradura. It's awesome, Kurt.
Oh, it is. Bree, what do you think?
Oh, I'm with everybody on the fact that Connecticut's are always a walk in the park. What I like about this pairing in particular, you get like a lot of notes of like a slight vanilla sweetness from the Herradura. And then when you smoke the cigar with it, it kind of brings out the citrus notes a little bit more. And all together, it's almost as if you were like smelling fresh cedar with like a light painting of vanilla. So it's really the perfect combination. It's a walk in the park pairing.
You have a way with words, woman.
Oh, I try.
Yeah, that's very good.
She's a poet.
Kendra, what's your thoughts on how it pairs with the tequila?
Yeah, I get definitely like earthy, woody notes from the cigar, and I think the sweetness in the tequila is really balanced. I think that the cigar actually brings out the nice, like sweet, like vanilla and like honey notes in the tequila. So it is definitely working really well.
Yeah, for me, the cigar has kind of a natural sweet creaminess to it. Nice cedar notes. This is also, one of my favorite Connecticut cigars. There's just a lot of flavor going on here. It's very well balanced. It's very smooth. And the tequila really does kind of complement the sweetness of the cigar very, very well. And, those citrus notes that Bree was talking about, I definitely picked that up in the pairing. It's very, very nice how this goes. Kurt, let me ask you something here, and you kind of touched on this, but I want to maybe see if you can give us a little bit more of what was going on in your mind at the time. Why revive 724? I mean, why not just come out with your own brand of cigars, the Twins House brand or Beard and Bourbon cigars? Why was it so important to you to revive this?
724 to me was an iconic brand that somehow, closed, somehow went out of business. And what I understand is in 1963, the factory closed, and with the Cuban trade embargo, they were unable to get the Cuban fillers that they used all the years. Now remember, they were making as many as 80 million cigars a year. And
that's amazing.
It is amazing. It's an amazing story, but the history and the iconic building that was 5 minutes from my house is still standing today. I just couldn't understand why it was gone, but I was so excited to bring it back. It brought like a whole new drive to me, and I really took it under my wing and decided, I got to make this happen. I kicked the tire on it for like 2 years,
Yeah.
and I traveled around. I talked about it, and finally, I got it moving in the right direction. And we came out with 5 different cigars to introduce the brand in 2006.
Okay. Now there are lots of brands out there, of course, to choose from, especially Connecticut cigars. What to you makes the WK stand out from the pack?
From the pack of all the Connecticut's, well,
Yeah.
it's got a lot of flavor. What I like about the cigars that we make is, first of all, I'm not a cigar maker. I'm
Mhm.
not a cigar blender. I
Mhm.
work with an incredible team to create these cigars. But one of my goals is I like a nice firm cigar that
Mhm.
draws perfectly, that will burn razor sharp, and that will has a lot of flavor.
Mhm.
So this has a lot of flavor, being a mild cigar.
Mhm.
It does have an incredible aroma, and it's very enjoyable. This
Mhm.
actually brings me back to when I first started smoking cigars
Mhm.
and enjoying the Fonsecas and the Fuente cigars and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
that's why
that's
I
right.
brought it back.
You're a huge Fonseca nut. You love those cigars.
I do.
Now you're not a blender like you said, but how involved are you in the process that goes on in bringing these to market? How involved are you in picking out the blends and saying no, I don't want this, I want that? How is that process with you?
Well, I've been part of the process, obviously, on selecting all the blends for 6 or 7 different cigars we've come out with.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, I was a complete novice. I was very green. I had no idea what I was doing, and I had to rely on a team around me. I did know that I wanted a few specific characteristics about a cigar that I would insist upon so I could be unique.
Mm,
And I don't recall a whole lot of cigars that were using any Brazilian Matafina as a wrapper at the time.
mm,
And I really liked the characteristics of that tobacco. I liked the white ash. I liked the aroma. I liked the flavor it brought, and I loved how the combustion. So the first blend we came out with was a few ideas that I had, but I certainly relied on the experts to put the blend together.
mm,
After that, I expanded my knowledge by doing the same thing, going to the factories and learning more of the process. But I certainly relied on the experts around me.
mm,
I had an idea what I wanted because our goal was unique cigars, unique flavors, unique aroma, but medium-bodied cigars that just about anyone can smoke.
mm.
And I think we've done pretty well at that so far.
I think so. Now you started out in retail. What made you want to expand into getting into creating a brand like 724, bringing it back and making it a national thing? Why leave the retail to do that?
Well, I never left retail. I'm a retailer. I'm a consumer.
Hmm.
I'm a cigar lover. And through the collection of some of the antiques and learning the history of the brand, I really was not in the market to bring a cigar brand to market. I had no idea that what I was going to do. All I knew was this deserved to come back.
Mm,
And that's where the project started. I didn't know where it was going to go. I really didn't know if it would be a national brand. I didn't know if it would be a store house brand,
hmm.
and as soon as I got it, friends were inquiring. Some of the acquaintances I've had over the years, really really were interested in bringing the cigar into their shop, but also do me a favor and uh, offer it to their customers. And I was very fortunate in the beginning with all the connections and contacts I had and friends across the industry and the country. And within the first couple of years, we were in hundreds of stores because of those relationships as a retailer.
Yeah, the cigar business is so relationally driven. It really is a kind of a who you know kind of thing, and the community is just so great that way. People are willing to help their friends and help other people out. That's one of the reasons I enjoy being in the business too. Um, what's one of the most challenging things that you had to deal with in bringing 724 to the market?
Well, bringing it to the market, obviously takes capital. It takes ideas. It takes experience. And I thought that I had a few of those characteristics to bring it back. And I thought, as a retailer, of what I've seen all the manufacturers do over the years, I wanted to take all the good stuff that I learned from all the different manufacturers for me buying and pour it into my company. So that part actually came pretty natural. And from communication with the retailers to packaging properly, every single box I send out has a handwritten note, letting them know that I really appreciate them. But the biggest challenge that I've run into is really the ability to have a good sales force and maintain that over years to come. And because I'm a very small company, one of the smallest companies in the industry, I don't have the luxury of having a dedicated sales force. So over the years, I've been blessed with working with some of the best cigar brokers in the country. And that's how I've gotten my cigars across hundreds of accounts in the United States. But as I've learned, the brokers tend to get jobs and leave certain areas. And that's been my biggest challenge, is keeping the sales force and keeping it in people's faces and in the, getting it in their hands.
One of the stories that I really love about how something went wrong and you made that into a huge positive for the 724 brand was the creation of the dog walker size cigar. Can you tell us a little bit about how that particular Vitola came about?
Sure. Well, as I was starting the brand, one of the things that I'd always seen with 724 was the size called Landres. And although I did not come out with a Landres the first 5 sizes that we created, I wanted to come out with that again. So our 6th size was going to be the Landres, and I was excited to make it. Excited to get it in, and we created a cigar that, in my opinion, I wanted what I was calling a shaggy foot. And I wanted the wrapper to come all the way around the end of the foot of the cigar, so when you lit it, you really could experience that Brazilian Matafina. So with my lack of experience and poor communication with the factory, I was asking for a shaggy foot. And what happened was the shaggy foot came in and the Landres came to our warehouse, and there was about 3/4 of an inch of the foot of the cigar that had no wrapper leaf. And my lack of proper terminology with the factory, asking for a shaggy foot, was the opposite of what I wanted to do. So now we had an incomplete blend, in my opinion. And when you lit that cigar, it was the opposite of what I intended, Matafina. Now you're tasting no Matafina, and you're tasting filler and wrapper. I mean, filler and binder. So, we kicked it around. We didn't know exactly what to do. I didn't have a lot of time to start over. So we cut the cigars all down, and we cut 3/4 of an inch off. and now we had a shorter cigar. It was not a Londres. And from my retail experience, I always called those short little cigars dog walkers.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, in New England, where we're from, a dog walker, or when you're out in the garage, you're walking your dog, you're cold, you look for that short cigar. I always call them dog walkers. So
Yeah.
that's what we ended up naming that particular size. And when we brought it to market and we brought it to the trade show, it that name ricocheted across the room. And although I only had a few cigars to sell, it was a huge hit for us.
It's a great cigar. I love the dog walker size. Having a dog myself, especially in the fall and winter and early spring, those short cigars are awesome, and I can't say enough about them. The Hustler, I think, is my favorite. Paul, do you have a favorite dog walker?
Yeah, it's the Factory 57.
Factory 50. Nice. Nick,
Yeah.
what about you? Do you have a favorite dog walker?
The original.
The original dog walker.
The original is my favorite. When I walk my dog, I usually bring a 5-pack because I usually go through them. I'm a little bit
No
of a
surprise there, Nick.
Yeah. Another walk, another stroke.
Shocker.
5-pack, but it does the job.
Oh my goodness. Bree,
Expensive walk.
do you have a favorite dog walker?
Well, considering that it's tattooed on my leg, yes, I do. The dog walker Hustler.
Yeah.
Marked for life. Look at that. Kurt, are you planning on coming out with a WK dog walker? That's the only line that, one of the two lines that doesn't have one.
Yes, we do. They're actually, the cigars have been made for quite a while. We ran into some packaging glitches, and so the cigars have been sitting for actually about a year. But they will be out. They'll be out soon, and as soon as we get our problems behind us.
How do you think being a retailer and starting out as a retailer, being a retailer at heart, has helped you to market the 724 brand?
Well, understanding being a retailer and watching the companies come at us with their marketing and come at us with certain promotions, and packaging is so important to me in a cigar. Packaging is not everything, because you can't smoke the box. The consumer, especially if they're unaware of your brand, to the brand. So, we used all original packaging for the most part for the brand. We did create some new packaging, but it all stemmed from original artwork or signage from the brand and what I've collected. So I've learned a lot being a retailer and trying to have a successful cigar brand. I certainly wouldn't be as far as we are now without that experience.
I have somebody here asking, is there going to be a 1874 dog walker in the future?
Well, I'm going to have to say, as of right now, probably not. And with the unfortunate circumstances of some of the federal changes in the way we make cigars and the way we can release cigars in the future, I'm going to have to say it's a good possibility that won't happen. But my suggestion would be is to buy 1874 and a half.
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh my goodness.
And I have a question for Kurt. I don't think I ever asked him, because Kurt, I know you're a lover of Lanceros. That's kind of like your size. Will you be coming out with any of the Lanceros in like the Factory 57, the WK? I know the next cigar that we're gonna be smoking is gonna be the original Lancero. I would love to try a Factory 57 Lancero. That thing has got to be unbelievable.
Well, there's good news and bad news. The bad news is probably not a Lancero in the Factory 57, but we did introduce a Lonsdale prior to the dates that the FDA required us to have cigars on the market prior to the changing of the rules and laws. So we have a Lonsdale coming out in that. We also launched a Lancero in the Hustler series.
Nice.
And a few other sizes as well that we'll be putting in. They are in regular production, but they're not distributed all across the country as much as the other sizes and series. As far as WK goes, that's probably not going to happen.
Well, let me reverse the last question I gave you. How do you think being a brand owner has helped you as a retailer at Twins?
That's a great question, Dan.
Thank you, Kurt.
Great question. Well, I guess I've but one of the things about being a good retailer is recognizing the new manufacturers coming up and the new opportunities coming up and always giving someone a chance. So if somebody walks into my store and appears to be a good, solid person, a good businessman, they have a good product and a good story to some degree, I always give them a chance. I'll always bring the cigar in and I'll always give it a fair shake. I'll always present it properly. I'll get the staff behind it so we know about the product, and we also get behind it, because the goal is with a new product is to get it into people's hands. One of the things that I've learned from being on both sides and wearing both hats for sure, and I also recognize that the relationships are really big, and that it's important to do good business and do the right thing. Yeah. Quality retailers is a term that I use all the time. And it's important to be a quality retailer and understand how to be a retailer and not just a hobbyist, because there's a lot of hobbyists in this industry. Yeah. And I take pride in the fact that I am not a hobbyist. I take it very seriously, and I partner with some of the best manufacturers in the world in order to be successful on both ends.
That's awesome. Guys, we're coming up to the halfway point here. Let's talk about our final thoughts on the WK Torpedo here. I'm going to start with Nick.
Yay. Well, the pairing is great. The little that I had, I finished it a little while ago. It was absolutely great. More of that. With the cigar, continuously creamy, still with the woody notes, still a lot of flavor in there. A little bit. I'm like 2-3 inches left of this, and it's still a lot of flavor in there. Usually, a lot of times a lot of cigars will get harsh at the end, but this one's still incredibly smooth. Really, a lot of flavor. Still getting, for me, I'm still getting that nice light spice on the retrohale. Unfortunately, I'm not getting any of that floral notes or the vanilla, but a little bit.
What notes?
Floral notes.
Floral notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Surrey. But
Paul, what about you?
Well, first of all, I want to say that the pairing actually was really good. I am not at all a tequila fan. I've had a bad experience with them many years ago, and I just shut it away like the plague. But
just one bad experience.
This one, I actually got to say, is been really good. I actually got a lot of pepper notes from the tequila in the beginning. It smoothed out. Yeah. And but it's actually brought out a lot more of the cedar notes from the cigar. So the cigar on its own, wonderfully smooth, nice citrus notes in the beginning. It's now gone away, but it's brought out a little bit more of the earthy, woody notes. Still get that cedar. That's coming from the tequila. Just an absolutely fantastic cigar.
Bree, what do you think? Since it's tattooed on your leg, I'm gonna think it's positive.
No. Technically, it's the Dog Walker Hustler that's tattooed on my leg. However, even though it's not a possibility, I'm still thinking about if there was a Connecticut Lancero, because it's like, I feel like Connecticut's are like, if you haven't smoked a cigar in a week and you're like easing back in, start with a Connecticut. And then like the Lancero is my favorite size as well. But as far as this pairing in particular, I think what's unique about it is that it's a pairing that stays consistent. Like I've noticed in the past, sometimes it's like, the spirit will start out stronger and the cigar will kind of smooth it out, or vice versa. And then by the end, you're getting a lot of spice and pepper. With this, it's like the spice kind of like comes throughout the entire smoke, and then when you have the tequila with it, it does the exact same. So they're almost like a complementary pair, where instead of contrasting in a good way, they complement in a good way. So that's my take.
Kendra, were you happy with how the pairing went for you?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with a lot of like what Paul's saying, and also with Bree. I would say overall it's balanced, which is a good thing.
Yep.
When you're talking about pairings, staying consistent, and the flavors aren't really changing much as the cigar is getting down to the end. So overall, super. And I'm proud of you, Paul, for drinking the tequila and liking it. This is the second podcast where we've had a tequila win with Paul.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Hey, am I allowed to chime in on this?
Yeah, but I'm sure you're going to say you like it a lot. I mean, it's yours.
Well, I do. First of all, I like both of the products, but Kendra put this pairing together and did a really good job. You could go really nicely together. The products are good, but the pairing itself really complements each other. They're both very well balanced, and neither one of them outshines the other, and it's just a really nice situation. So good job.
That's why we call Kendra the pairing master. In addition to the potion master, she does a great job at pairing the cigars and tobaccos we smoke with the spirits available at the 724 Lounge Bar. It's very, very good.
I get a lot of help from you guys. So
yeah, but still, I mean, here's the thing. I know a lot about cigars. I've been smoking cigars for decades. I've been a certified, retail tobacconist for over 20 years. But when it comes to spirits and liquors, the only thing I really know about them is that I like them. I have not met a hard alcohol that I didn't like, for better or worse, but, the two of us together, we really do a good job, I think, in coming up with real winners. And this is one. I don't have a lot of experience with tequila. I unlike Paul, I haven't had any horrible experiences with it. It doesn't make me want to, go skiing down Black Diamond slopes in my underwear or something like that. But,
Pastor, could I make a comment on the tequila? Tequila in general. We've been very fortunate and blessed at Twin Smoke Shop. We have an environment called the 724 Lounge, and through that experience, I've been blessed and invited to many places around the country and the world to buy spirits. So if people don't know, this is actually a single barrel product. This comes from one barrel after distillation. And what people don't realize about tequila is this is a reposado. And what makes it a reposado is the age of the tequila and the age in the barrel. So
Okay.
it's been aged, like Kendra said, for 11 months in a charred oak barrel, and then 1 month in a new American oak barrel. In Mexico, to many distilleries, and we bought a few different barrels of tequila, but we're able to select the tequila that really we think that will complement cigars. So
Mm.
we have unique products like that from Herradura, Corazon. We have unique whiskeys from Old Forester, High West, just to name a few. And it it's a great opportunity to try different single barrel spirits and enjoy them with cigars.
That's awesome. Um, I really think the WK is a fantastic cigar. Um, you know, I'm a more medium to full bodied cigar smoker myself usually. Uh, However, the WK is one of my favorite cigars in the 724 lineup. It is so smooth and consistent. It's got those great cedar notes, woody notes to it. That little citrusy floral note in the retrohale and in the aroma of the smoke. And you can see it just has smoked great all the way down. You know, Kurt said at the outset he was looking for a cigar that was going to be nice, firm, and constructed well, and that the burn was going to be perfect all the way down. All of us looking at everybody's cigars as they've been smoking, everybody had a great experience. I didn't have to touch mine up once after I got it lit. And if you're looking for a Connecticut cigar that has a more flavor to it than usual, but you're wanting to stay in that mild to medium range, the 724 WK is definitely a cigar that I would check out. So get to your local tobacconist, wherever that is. If you're in the England area, that's Twins, and get you some of these cigars. They're fantastic. Now, we're going to switch gears here, and we're going to smoke this, the original 724 Lancero. It comes wrapped in this long cedar sleeve here. And Kurt, I know this is one of your favorite cigars. You want to tell us about it?
Yes, Dan, I'd love to tell you about it.
That's good.
This is one of my favorite cigars. I do tend to like narrower ring gauges. I've smoked narrower ring gauges for a lot of years, and I think this particular blend of tobacco, which is from Brazil, Colombia, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and Mexico, all in this small little ring gauge cigar, really the size complements that blend, and the ratio of tobaccos and the flavor and aroma that comes from it is one of my favorites, and that's why I really enjoy this particular cigar.
And this has that Brazilian Matafina wrapper that you love so much, right?
It does, yes.
Now, when you were blending this, when you were blending the original 724 line, were you looking to recreate something similar to what was offered by 724 the factory, or were you looking to do your own original blend?
Well, originally we looked at trying to recreate something similar, and what I learned was all the fillers from the original 724 blend were from Cuba. The binder was a Connecticut broadleaf, and the wrapper was Sumatran. And we messed around with a few different blends trying to replicate something like that. But realistically, my goal was to have a unique product to bring to the market for today's market, and not necessarily just to copy something else or be similar to anyone else. So that's why we selected some of these tobaccos to just have unique product that people could enjoy.
Now, for this, we are drinking the 724 High West bourbon, correct, Kendra? You want to tell us a little bit about that offering?
Yes, indeed. So there's actually a lot to be said about this High West. Okay, so our High West barrel is it's an American Prairie bourbon. So High West American Prairie, and that is a blend of 3 straight bourbons.
Okay.
And it is finished, additionally, this is the unique part, it's finished in a barrel-aged Manhattan barrel. So barrel-aged cocktails, that's the thing. And High West actually sells a bottled Manhattan. So I would assume that the additional aging is going into that particular barrel that they made the cocktail. And so you can get High West American Prairie in the stores, but our finish with the Manhattan barrel is the unique part. And American Prairie bourbon is actually named after the American Prairie Preserve Foundation. I don't know if anyone's heard of it, but it is a huge wildlife preservation foundation. So that makes me love it even more because I love me some animals.
Yeah, it's got the little rabbit on the front, I think,
It's a prong antelope.
An antelope.
An antelope, yes.
Jackalope.
Yeah.
Or an antelope.
So that's what I got for you. It is wonderful. With the pairing, my first sip there, a blast of like a sweet cereal. Like it's definitely it's killer.
Yeah, High West is one of my favorite bourbons. My favorite of theirs is Campfire. I love that stuff. And the first time I had it was as a customer at the 724 Lounge. I can't remember who served it to me. It might have been Sean, actually, but I asked for a bourbon
During your interview?
No, this was Kurt. Kurt, this was years ago. This was years before that even came on the radar. And I said, I'd love to try a bourbon. I don't really know much about it. And whoever offered it to me said, well, we just got in this High West Campfire. It's really, really good. Why don't you try that? And I did. And that was unbelievable stuff. And I've just been hooked on High West since. Bree,
what makes that particular one unique is it's actually not a bourbon. It's a blended whiskey that is blended with rye, bourbon, and a little bit of scotch in that Campfire. So it's got a real smoky, slight bit of peat.
Yeah, there is a little peatiness to it.
Yeah, really unique. This particular one here is not a single barrel either. It's a blended whiskey, but it was finished in a they call a BAM barrel, which Kendra just explained. And they make that barrel-aged Manhattan, and then they age this for 25 months in that barrel afterwards.
That's it. Now, did you, Kurt, pick this barrel yourself?
No, I didn't. This barrel was offered to me. So as the other barrels that we tend to buy are generally single barrels. So it spends its whole life in one barrel. It's not blended. This was a blend that High West offered to us to offer in the 724 Lounge. They don't offer a lot of barrels. So as soon as they offered it, I tasted it. We were very excited to get it in.
I'm sure it's a great thing to have up at the bar. Bree, what's your first thoughts on the pairing here between the Lancero and the High West?
So personally, as someone who loves, I love the woods. I love like log cabins, all that sort of thing.
Here we go.
Yep. So here we go. Originally, High West Campfire was like my number one promoted product, my favorite
Mhm.
whiskey. And then we got this Manhattan Maryland, and I was thinking off the bat, oh, this is going to be too sweet for me. I tried it, and I was proven wrong. And it's interesting because, I started out puffing my cigar, and when you puff the cigar for a bit and you get it going, and then you take a sip of the High West and kind of, let it sit on your palate a little bit, and then give a good exhale, you almost get the essence of being inside of like a log cabin. It's there's like a lot of like woodiness. There's like spice from the wrapper. There's like a little bit of a sweetness beneath it.
Mhm.
So it's almost like a nostalgic pairing, but it's one that's more powerful than the first, but I think perfect for what I'm looking for at the end of the night.
Bree, I
Okay.
hope I don't lose you to Cigar Aficionado or something like that. Don't forget where you started.
Remember the little people, Bree. Remember the little people. Paul, what do you think of the pairing here?
Well, I've never had the 724 High West before, and I got to
Mm.
say, I actually get some nice cherry notes from this, and so I think that's bringing out, yeah, so that's bringing out a lot more of the earth and wood notes from the cigar. The cigar on its own is very, very smooth, sweet, a little spicy. The retrohale is just really smooth, just really great.
Mm. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the pairing. I think the High West is really complementing the Lancero very well. It's got just the right amount of spice. It's very smooth. There is so much going on here,
Mm.
and there's so much going on in the High West as well that it's it's a party in your mouth, people. It's awesome.
Wow.
It's amazing. Now,
I think the
Kurt,
combination of the cedar notes from the tobacco and the slight cherry and spice from the whiskey, it really goes nicely together.
what made you um, expand from just being a retail store to putting a bar in there? Why? What made you want to switch into that?
Well, over the years, I've enjoyed a lot of spirits, and I've been some of my favorite moments in life are enjoying spirits with friends, and we always had a small lounge, and we expanded that, to a little bigger lounge over the years. But knowing that, enjoying the benefit of the complementing characteristics of these, and enjoying it with friends was always big to me. I love tobacco with coffee. I love tobacco with you know premium spirits, and I just thought what an opportunity we have here in New Hampshire to try and introduce that. So we actually went to the state, and we had a state rep introduce a bill called the Cigar Bar Bill, and that was with my cigar association, the Cigar Association of New Hampshire, and we pushed it through. It took us a few years to get it done, but we were able to get it done where a retail tobacconist could also offer spirits without any food, and it's done really well. And we've grown substantially in our business through our lounge, and really it enhances the time that people can come and stay with us and smoke more, and it's a benefit where it does more business. It's and it's afforded us to move into the building we're in. So we have a almost 10,000 square foot building that we bought about 7 years ago, and it took us almost 2 years to build it out. But one whole floor is a 724 lounge. So wherever you might be, you might want to come down and check it out and experience what we do every day. And I have a top-notch staff right in front of you. This is just a portion of it, but we really appreciate what we have, and that lounge is a big part of us.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of lounges and cigar bars, across the country, and Twins is a very special place. And not for nothing, Kurt, it's like the cleanest cigar shop I've ever been in my life. And there's and I'm not just saying, so many, when you're smoking, there's you're having to deal with ashes, you're having to deal with people who leave their apple cores in the ashtray, that do these stupid things. And it's such a great atmosphere. You feel good about being there. It's a place where you can bring your friends to, and for me, Pastor Padron, it's one of these places where you can go and I can bring my wife and feel like I like her knowing where we are. We've actually had dates up at the bar, and Kendra can vouch for that. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful place. It's a great atmosphere, great people, and
I think
the
you did an
customers are great
anniversary or a
too.
birthday there too, didn't you?
We did. We did. We had our 29th anniversary this past December. There's a hotel right behind. We just came up, spent the evening at the drink and drive. We just walked back and enjoyed ourselves. It was great.
Good for you.
See, that was PG, Kurt. You didn't have to get worried.
That's right. Hey, but I've always looked at it as, you want to be in an environment that's clean. Why wouldn't we have the cleanest environment we can? And one of the best stories of how clean our place is one of our employees that's been with us the longest and has been on this show many times is Lisa Lemieux,
Yep.
who started as our cleaning gal. And she did such a good job cleaning. And we kept her going for years. And I'll never forget, we started a bar in our old location, and we needed somebody to, crack beers and pour shots. And at the time, that's about the extent of our bartending experience. And Lisa came on board, a real go-getter and self-trained bartender, and done a great job.
Yes, she has. She's done awesome. You touched on this a little bit a few minutes ago, but you not only got into the cigar bar, end of things, literally working to create the bill to make that happen, but then you took that a step further into offering these 724 unique selections and single barrel selections. What made you decide to make that leap into doing that?
Well, Dan, as a quality retailer, and I can't believe I just kind of said that in the third party, but I want to be a quality retailer, and I've always looked to have the best product available. I want as much of it as I can, and I want to have the best. Well, the opportunity to be able to select a few barrels of whiskey came about, and I thought, what a good way to have a unique product that people can enjoy that you can't get anywhere else. It's going to get people talking and sharing with their friends, and that's basically how it started. And I've had the opportunity many times to travel to Tennessee, Kentucky. I haven't been to Scotland, but I've been to Mexico 3 times, and with my good friend Eddie Leon, who introduced me to tequila. And some of the experiences of tequila were similar to maybe what Paul had, or some of you, where you're doing shots of a brown colored liquor they call gold, and you got sick as a dog, or you never want to taste that again. Well, when you experience premium tequila and how it's made, It's probably the cleanest spirit in the world, or one of them. And if you drink it properly, not only do you get the full enjoyment of the flavors and aroma and the feeling from it, but it's super clean and like death the next day.
So how many of these special 724 unique selections do you currently have? Do you know off the top of your head?
We don't have a tremendous amount, but we usually have about 5 barrels or selections. And then, we'll offer a special every night at 7:24 p.m.
That's right.
where you can try one of those specials for $7.24. So that's what really got them to take off, because it gave people an opportunity to try something unique, and it's really done well.
Is there one of those in particular that you continue to go back to yourself?
Well, over the years of trying all the different spirits, I've loved the Tennessee whiskey. I love the bourbon from Old Forester. Right now, my true favorite is the tequilas. And when you understand tequila and you understand how to enjoy it, and even drinking from the proper glassware, well, this is a tequila flute. So the whole experience delivers pleasure. And when you drink good tequila and you're not shooting it, it's right now it's my favorite.
Do you think there's one of these 724 selections that is kind of being missed by customers? You wish that people would maybe discover for themselves?
Well, I'm going to go back to the tequila, because so many people have had a bad experience with tequila, and our staff has been trained in what tequila really is, premium tequila. So we might have to express to our customers what it is, how to enjoy it, and that's really been the one that most people are reluctant to try, but always go back to it after they experience it. I love sitting down with a first-time tequila drinker, thinking that they're going to get a shot of whatever, and Jose Cuervo Gold. With all due respect to Jose Cuervo, they make some good tequilas too, but to see the enjoyment from this, and then all of a sudden it's in their regular lineup.
So let's get into some more personal questions.
Oh, here we go.
Get to know the man behind the legend of 724. And I want to kind of ease you into this, Kurt, because I know you're a very private person. So here's my first question for you. How long are you going to try and get that beard?
Well, I have to come clean. This is really my first beard ever. Now, I've grown a little short, beard. I've always had a mustache of some degree, but I've never grown a beard. And up until even recently, I don't really even care for this beard. But I've got so much time into it right now, thinking that it might progress into something I like, that I won't cut it off. Well, with this pandemic we're in, I decided today to cut it on my own, which I probably cut about 25% of it off. There was a big pile in the sink, and it's hard to do on your own, because you got the scissors in your hand and you're trying to, you're looking in the mirror. It's not easy. I tried the trimmers, but I'm going to keep it going a little while longer. We'll see what happens.
Good for you, man. What do you like doing when you're not doing 724 things or Twins business stuff, or bringing up the store on your camera app on your phone? What do you like? What do you like doing, Kurt? What are some of your hobbies?
Well, my main hobby is excuse me, antique collecting. I really love the thrill of the hunt of advertising. I'm a sign collector. You know, you guys see American Pickers on TV. That's basically been my whole adult life, and most of the free time I have is that. You know, not having much. You said not Twins related, not 724 related. There really hasn't been much, and you know, I have raised a family. I enjoy that time. I enjoy quality time, relaxing. I've learned to relax over the last couple of years, but you know, I love working in the yard. I love working hard. I love collecting antiques. I love being on a boat. Uh, Over the years, my main hobbies were, you know, building, enjoying hot rods, buying and selling cars, old cars like you might have seen in some of our ads where, you know, that's the thrill of finding an old car is the same as the thrill of finding anything else you really enjoy or an antique. So I really like that a lot. And I've always enjoyed Harley Davidsons, although I don't ride very much now. I don't really see a lot of, I still see the thrill of it, but the way the roads are now and everybody's on their phones, and I've kind of gotten away from that a little bit, but that's my enjoyments.
Now, this is one of the few times I've seen you in the last few months that you're not wearing flannel. You seem to spend a lot of time with flannel too. I mean, what's up with that? Are you going to come out with some flannel 724 shirts for us? Do you think in the future?
It's a possibility. You know, I am fond of flannel. I do enjoy a quality flannel shirt. They're not easy to come by. I've had a lot of flimsy flannel. I've had a lot of inadequate flannel. I've had, but I do enjoy the Dixon Flannel Company, and I have communicated with them on possibly making a 724 Dixon flannel. But I'm a flannel fan.
What is it about flannel that you love so much? About is it how it looks, how it feels? Is it the nostalgic look of it?
Well, I'm pretty much a blue collar kind of guy. I've always worn jeans, t-shirts. Most of the jobs I've done prior to what I do now, I've been dirty, greasy. I was never a guy that could pull off a Guayabera. I saw a picture of myself in a Guayabera recently standing next to Michael Herklotz. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is not a good look. You know, I'll occasionally wear a dress shirt, but a good quality flannel is like a dress shirt for me. And, you know, it's a good, clean presentation for myself. That's why I like them.
Kurt, what would you say to somebody right now who wanted to get into the cigar business that you would have wanted to know yourself when you were just starting out?
Well, I've learned a lot over the years, and I've learned it all through making mistakes and learning the hard way. And I've learned from a lot of great people and mentors. But the first, I've been asked that question literally 1,000 times. I want my own brand. I want to open up a shop. And there's a lot that goes into that. First of all, being in the retail business, you basically have to kiss your free time away. You know, I worked 7 days a week for many years. I was the guy behind the counter. Every day people walked in. You give up every Saturday when your boys are riding by on their Harley Davidsons. But there's a lot of sacrifice that needs to come, you know, being a business owner, being a retail business owner. And it takes a long time to actually earn a living. So unless you have a lot of money, and you're have the opportunity to gamble with somebody else's money, um, it's not an easy task. To build a brand is probably even harder. If you think about trying to launch a regional soft drink company or Nantucket's Nectar or something like that, and to try and make a national brand from it, very challenging. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of capital, and it takes a good product. So you have to have several pieces to your puzzle to make a picture. And without all those pieces, it's going to be almost like getting in, Major League Baseball. Excuse me.
Kurt, where do you see Twins 5 years from now? What if everything went according to your goals and dreams? Where would you see Twins in 5 years?
Well, that's a great one, Dan. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I live and breathe ideas of business, and they don't always, come off of the notebook. But, I have a lot of ideas for Twins, and a lot of them have come up over the last few years, and building the company. We didn't just splash a bunch of money at an idea and hope for the best. We built it brick by brick, and that's what a true brick and mortar does. But I think in the future, you might see another location or two, and you might just see our locations get better than ever. With a good staff, good quality products, and good systems in place. I think we can go a long ways.
What about 724, the brand? Where would you like to see that 5 years from now?
Well, in 5 years from now, I'd like to just be a quality distributor of great cigars. I'd like to have my own dedicated sales team so I could focus better on promoting our brand, getting it into people's hands. I've got a lot of good quality brokers that work for me now. And, the fact of the matter is they represent several brands. So to get the individual attention that we would like for our brand, I'd like to take some of those good guys I have and actually have them work for me. But, that's a long-term goal.
Yeah.
But, always offering good quality products and doing good business and having good retail partners and just, continue to grow slowly is really all my goals are.
So when can we expect you to light up some briar with us?
Ooh. That's a question right there.
Burn some hair,
Yeah, burning hair.
Like,
If that briar tastes anything like it smells, it won't be anytime soon. But I would be willing to try it. I did try it once upon a time. I believe it was with my good friend Andy Green. He brought me a Peterson pipe, and I tried it. And because of my lack of experience and the fact that I like cigars so much,
Sure.
I didn't enjoy the pipe that much. I didn't like the way it drew. I didn't like how much effort it took to keep it going. And when it was going, I wasn't really enjoying it. My tongue was on fire. It tastes like crap.
Do you remember what it was?
No, I really don't.
It was just so horrible you've pushed it out of your mind.
Yeah. I would be willing to try with your expertise, though, Dan, and great knowledge, to try it again.
Well, perhaps that's a 5-year goal I can work with. So, one last question, and Kurt, we'll start with you, but then I want everybody else to give their answer to it too. It's a would you rather question, and that is, would you rather, Kurt, have unlimited international first class tickets for life, or never have to pay for food at restaurants ever again?
That's easy
Like,
because I do eat out a lot, but I love to travel, and
Mhm.
I want to sit in the front of the plane. So in order to afford that, that's a heck of a lot more than it costs to eat. So I would select the unlimited travel.
Unlimited travel. All right. Nick, what would you pick? Unlimited travel to international destinations, or never pay for food at a restaurant again?
well, pretty sure everybody here knows what I pick. It would
Yeah,
probably-
we have a pool going.
yeah, it would be unlimited food. Like, I would hit every steakhouse in the United States and just pile on steaks like nobody's business. The flights, I go to Puerto Rico maybe once or twice a year. Not really, I don't really fly too much. That doesn't really, interest me much, but going to a nice steakhouse or, Browns or Mackey's and up in Seabrook and piling it on, that'd be me all day.
Paul, what about you?
I think you know. I think you know my answer. I would rather have a slice of pizza in Rome, Italy,
Yeah.
than to have the best steak in around this area. I would definitely take the first class tickets without a doubt.
Bree, what about yourself? You like to travel and eat.
Yes, that's
It's a
why
50-50 toss-up with you.
Well, okay, so honestly, I feel I have a very expensive diet. We joke that Nick and my hunger is twin. So I feel that all the money that I would spend on food, I could use all that money to buy all the first class international tickets that I want. So with that said, I would like to be able to pay to travel wherever I want, and then I will get free food wherever I go because I eat a lot of food. So that's my answer.
Okay. Kendra, what about yourself? What would the Potion Master do?
So I would choose the international flights. I have a lot of London trips in my future. My sister is going to be moving to London as soon as all this COVID stuff is out of the way. So I'd like to go and be a part of her new marriage, family, starting her own family. So I would like to get there, at least a couple times a year.
That's awesome. I personally would pick the international flights. I would love to travel more than I have been able to do. And, I would love to go and visit some of these farms and factories down in Nicaragua, Honduras, the Dominican Republic. I'd love to see those. I haven't been overseas in a very long time. And the time I did was awesome. I'd love to be able to go back there. So that would be my choice there. Now, all right, it's already 8:32, so we're going to kind of wrap things up. Next week, we're going to be starting an hour later. We're going to be starting at 8 o'clock instead of 7. But it is going to be worth the hour of waiting because, in large part, thanks to Kurt Kendall, we are going to have Steve Saka on the show next week, and we are going to be smoking his brand new release, the Unstolen Valor, the latest in the Moisture de Saka line, and I am really, really pumped about that. We're also going to be smoking Jackknife Plug by GLPs, and those two things I think are just going to go fine together. So you're going to want to be here next week for the show. Use curbside pickup to get yours so you can smoke along with us, and let's get this virtual herf hopping. Follow us to get notified on facebook.com/NJBS podcast so that you don't miss anything. And on Instagram @Not Just Blowing Smoke. What's our final verdict here on the 724 Lancero? Paul, you want to give us your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was just an absolutely phenomenal cigar. Very smooth, wonderful earth notes, so a little bit of sweetness. The retrohale, just a wonderful spice all around. Just a really, really great cigar. I'm not saying this just because I work for Kurt and Twins, but this is my absolute favorite Lancero.
Nick, what about you?
Wonderful, or should I say excellent. With the pairing, it brought out a lot of sweetness in the cigar, got a little bit of earthy, nice, easy spice, incredibly smooth, and it's a great Lancero, one of the best Lanceros we have in the shop. Definitely buy it.
Bree?
I would categorize this pairing as rich and sweet. It's like it's very elegant. Personally, before this, my favorite cigar, like one of them, and once again, not just because we work for Kurt, has been the 1874 Lancero. And surprisingly, I hadn't smoked this cigar yet, the core line, and I'm enjoying it just as much. I think it even has like a little bit more like earthiness and spice to it. So I think it's depending on what you're drinking with it. They're both equally good cigars.
Kendra, how do you think the pairing went for you?
I think it went great. I think out of the two pairings, this one wins. Yeah, this is my number one vote. I feel like everything that I love about that whiskey was heightened with the cigar. It really brought out the flavors like times 10. So I've enjoyed the cigar in the past. I remember when it got like an amazing rating on Aficionado. I told Kurt it was the best effing cigar I've ever had in my life. He was like, "Can we record that?" Here it is.
Kurt, what do you think? What do you think of the pairing here? You pleased with how it turned out?
Yeah, very good. It was very tasty. They complemented each other very well. I think the cedar notes and the sweetness of the whiskey with that spice at the finish really was good. I enjoyed it a lot.
This is a fantastic Lancero, people. Lanceros are very underrated cigars. I know not a lot of cigar shops carry them because people look at them and go, "Oh, that's girly," or they look at the price and they say, "Why wouldn't I pay for a 6x60?" Which is cheaper than the Lancero. Lanceros are very difficult to make because there's no margin for error in something that it has such a small ring gauge. And this is a really a classic Lancero, right? 7.5 by 38. That's a very classic size. And it's a very difficult cigar to roll. And when you do it right, you get tons of flavor. And that's exactly what you get with this. It's nice. It's medium bodied. Anybody could smoke this cigar. It's not too strong for somebody who likes more mild cigars. It's got enough flavor that people who are more into full-bodied cigars will really enjoy it as well. And I really encourage you not to miss out and don't pass up the 724 Lancero just because you normally smoke Toro size or 660s or bigger ring gauge cigars. This is a great size, and this is one of the best Lanceros I think you can get. on the market today. So that's it for us this week. And be sure to tune in next week for Steve Saka. And I'm really looking forward to that. In the meantime, stay safe, everybody.
Dan, I need one more word, brother. I need one more word.
You need one more word?
I just want to thank you guys, man. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I really appreciate the way you represent our companies, and you guys are like family to me. I really appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Kurt.
Kurt.
That means a lot to us. And people, you need to appreciate that you have heard Kurt talk more in the last hour and a half than we have in the last year. So appreciate this, watch it over and over again. And I'm not just saying that to boost our numbers, but just because it really is. So we're very thankful that you took this time out of your evening for us. It really means a lot. A lot of our fans have wanted to have you on the show. We've wanted to have you on the show, and we're very blessed that you took the time out to be with us tonight. Thank you very, very much.
That's my pleasure. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Jeff Mitchell and
yeah, that's right. Let's go out to that. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
You've been listening to Not Just Blowing Smoke, the podcast that brings the wealth of knowledge, expertise, and fun of Twins Smoke Shop, New England's premier smoke shop, right to you, wherever you are, whenever you want it. You can find us at our website, notjustblowingsmoke.com, and keep in touch with us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram at Not Just Blowing Smoke. Thanks for listening, everybody, and that is Not Just Blowing Smoke.